Hey guys, Lionel here, and welcome to this practical on using footprinting. When we look at footprinting is basically trying to find out as much as information is possible about some specific sort of target type of server, or maybe some sort of website or user over there. So, in this video, we'll be looking at a different sort of footprinting tools you can use. For example, if I want to do email footprinting, I can use a software like Email Tracker Pro. Similarly, if I want to do Google based footprinting or Google based hacks, I can use a software like SearchDigity. I can even perform Whois based queries to perform Whois footprinting using Smart Whois. When I look at the first program which we'll be looking at a program called H3 Track. H3 Track is basically it's a website mirrorer or a website copier. When I start the interface, this is the basic interface which it will give me. What I will need to do is I will click on next. I will give it a project such as, let's say, ch demo. If I want, I can give it a category. One thing to notice, whatever project you give over here, the entire website, when you specify the URL in the next few steps, will be downloaded into your C drive my website folder. Means after this entire website copying has been done, inside of my my websites, there will be folder created with the name of my project name, that is ch demo. I click on next. Now it is asking what do I want to do. Do I want to download website? Do I want to get separate files? I'm interested in downloading the entire website over there. I will need to specify the URL. For demonstration purposes, I will be using the certified hacker.com test site. You can also use a Juggyboy website, which is at www.juggyboi.com. I then click on OK. When I click on OK and my URL has come perfectly over here, it'll start showing me the URL over here. I can now go to the next phase. If I click on set options, I can define specific option over here. For example, if I over here, if you see over here, there are a lot of plus type of option over here and minus type of option over here. What this is saying, if I want to include specific files which need to be downloaded when the website is being copied, I can specify. For example, over here PNG, when I'm doing the website copying, PNG, GIF, JPEG, CSS, JS type of files will be downloaded, whereas any sort of foobar type of files will be excluded. I can even specify the limits over here. For example, if I look at the maximum mirroring depth, I can specify the depth to which the mirroring should happen. By default, only a top level website will be copied. But if I require that any pages linked to the top website should be downloaded as well, I can specify the depth as maybe 1 over there. Similarly, if I want to download the pages which are linked to the pages which are linked to the main site, I can specify maybe a depth of 2 over there. So maximum error in depth is basically me specifying the maximum depth from the root URL down. So if I specify a value of 1, it will mirror the website from the root URL as well as any link that are connected to the root URL as well. If I go in flow connections, I can specify a number of connections over here. So if I specify maybe maximum number of connections as 7, what this will do is that this will have 7 connections made to this website, and each connection will be downloading a specific file. So what this will do is this will increase the speed of transfer as well as it will reduce the amount of time taken to download a particular website. I'll click on OK and I'll click on next. Then I'll finally click on finish. When I click on finish, you will see that the entire web it starts connecting to the website over here. So at one time you'll see maximum maybe around 7 active connections. Now currently there are 7 active connections where I can see that they are downloading some sort of PNG file or some sort of JavaScript file over there. In this view I can also see the top title bar showing me the bytes transferred. I can see the bytes saved, that is 8 around say around 900 KB. I can see the amount of type taken. I can even see the transfer rate, that is currently around 23 kilobytes per second. I can see the number of active connection. I can even see the number of files downloaded. Depending upon sites, this may take time. It may get over quick. It may take much more longer time. Alright, after the entire website has been downloaded, it'll give me the screen where I can either view the error log or if I can browse the mirrored website. If I click on browse mirrored website, it'll open the website from my C drive, my website folder. It'll also show me the project name over there, and also it'll show me the website URL. So I've downloaded certifiedhacker.com and I downloaded to the ch demo project name. So I can just scroll this left and right. One thing you will note, because I did not specify the maximum dem to go to, if I maybe click on something, it'll start loading the main website over there. For performing of Whois based footprinting, we'll be using a program called Smart Whois. Now, whenever you register any website of yours online, you are providing some sort of details to the hosting provider. These details are sent to the internet authorities, which are then linking these details with your website URL. Now, if I want to find out information about the website, uh, who is owning a website or maybe who is doing the administration of it, it is just a matter of fact that I need to just perform some sort of Whois queries. When I open the Smart Whois software, I can do different sort of queries over there. I can specify maybe an IP address. If I specify an IP address, it'll do a network type of query. If I specify domain name, that is like certifiedhacker.com or juggyboy.com, it'll do a domain based query over there. For example, if I'm just typing juggbyboy.com, and if I type something here, enter, the system will automatically detect whether it's a IP based query or whether it's a domain based query. So currently it's a domain, so it'll do a perform a domain based query over there. So if I see right now, it has done a query on juggyboy.com. It is telling me what is the IP address of it. I'll just copy this IP address. It will tell me what is the Google page rank and what is the Alexa traffic rank as well. If I click on view source, I can view information about this. I can scroll down, I can see maybe who is the creator, what is the thing, who is the, I can see who is the administrator. I can see information like phone number of the administrator, or who, where he lives, what is his email address, what is his full name, and lots of different information. It depends upon, like, if you're registered with a provider and you have tick mark that you want domain privacy protection, your information will not be displayed here at all. Like for example, if I see what is showing me private perfect privacy LLC, if I change this to maybe something like certifiedhacker.com and I go to view source, I can see much more better information over here. What is the person's name, his area, his location. So how is this useful? This is useful like if you have created a domain, if you have registered a website of yours online, you can just perform a smart whois query on your web. You can perform a whois query on your website and see whether your personal information is visible online or not. Like earlier, I had copied the, let's say this is the certifiedhacker.com IP address. Right now, if I want to perform a network-based query, type the IP and hit enter. When I perform a network-based query, you will see that the information is totally different over here. It is telling me what is the IP address. It is also telling me the range that is utilized by that website over here. So I can see that it is using the range of 160.0 to 191.255. Similarly, if I do something else, like if I do my own website, this is a domain-based query. Now, if you see when I'm querying my own website, I can see what is the IP address, but you can also see over here that it is having a lot of information hidden. Domain by proxy is basically my privacy protection which has been enabled on the website over there. If I scroll down, I can see that is registration private domain by proxy. This is my privacy protection enabled over here. So whois query is useful if you want to check whether your website has its data put on over there. If you are a little paranoid about your private data being online, about your residence or not. For the next part, we'll be looking at using of ping commands for finding out different sort of things, like finding out the MTU values as well as finding out how to perform a tracer using the ping commands. When I type a normal ping command like ping 192.168.0.1, I can see that the system is replying back. What is happening is my machine is sending this target machine ICMP packets. It is sending ICMP echo it is sending ICMP echo packets where it is sending across and is waiting for a response or a reply to come back over there. Now by default I can see there are 4 replies coming back. If I want to specify I only want to see one reply, I use a switch of -n and specify the value of 1 over there. Now I can see that there is a single reply being visible over here. Another thing is when I'm sending this when I'm sending the ping packets, another thing that I can specify the amount of data to be sent in it. By default, the ping command sends 32 bytes of data. If I want, I can specify a larger value by using the switch of -l and specifying a value in bytes. Currently, right now, I'll send 1500 bytes to dot 1, and I can see what is the response over here, that it is response is taking 62 milliseconds over. One thing to notice, as I have increased the size of the packets which is being sent, the time taken to respond back is also changed. Earlier when the bytes was 32 bytes, it took less than 1 millisecond. Now when I increase the bytes to 1500, it is taken 62 milliseconds. Now whenever you send data across the internet or interacting with machines, each machine has a specific window, a specific size, which determines the amount of data that machine can receive at that time. For example, if when I send data to this machine, to this .1 IP address, it may have been only able to receive maybe 1400 bytes. But when I pinged it with 1500 bytes, it has not given me an error. That is why that is happening because by default, if when you're sending data between machines, because my data is exceeding that machine's MTU value, my machine has fragmented the data into different packets and sent it. Now, if I want to check what is the MT value, one thing I can do is I can specify that this data should not be fragmented. So I specify that by using the minus F flag over here. When I use minus F, I can see that it is giving me an error that is packet needs to be fragmented, but do not fragment flag has been set over there. So now what I will think is maybe my MTU values maybe somewhere around 1400 and 1500. What I will do, I will decrease the value to 1400. When it's at 1400, I can see that a reply is coming back over here. What I'll do, I'll maybe now, so that means my MTU value between 1400 and 1500. Let's say 1450. 1450 is also sending me a reply back. Meaning MTU between 1450 and 1500. Let's say 1475. Alright. So 1475 is showing me packet needs to be fragmented. So that means the value of the MTU between 1450 and 1475. Let's say I will do this as 1465 right now. Reply is coming between, that means my MTU value between 1465 and 1475. Let's say 1470 to break it up a bit. So I can see when it is 1470, I can see that a reply is coming back, meaning my MTU value between 1470 and 1475. Let's say 1473, or for 1473 saying do not fragment. Let's say 1472. When my value is 1472 bytes, I can see a reply coming, but when the value is 1473, I can see that it is giving me a message that packets need to be fragmented. That means that this machine, that is 192.168.0.1, is having an MTU value of 1472 bytes. In the next part, we'll be looking at performing traceroute or traceroute using ping-based commands. Now, let's say if I want to perform a traceroute to the certifiedhacker.com website, I want to display only one response, and so I know that right now the certifiedhacker.com website is 6490. Let's get this down a bit. 64.93.90.163.30. This is the destination IP address. Alright, so when I'm doing the traceroute commands using ping based commands, I will be using a switch that is -I. When I use -I, I specify the value over here. Now, if I perform a traceroute on certifiedhacker.com, I can see that it is showing me the number of hops, it is showing me the route that it's taking. And it is going to my router, then it is going outside the internet. Where the column on the left, it is showing the number of what is the position in that route to the destination over there. Alright, I know that the IP address of certifiedhacker.com is 64.90.163.30, meaning that machine had a position of 15 in the route from my machine to that destination. Right, so let's make another window and I'll just minimize this so you can start from scratch. So I will do a ping certifiedhacker.com -n1 -I. We'll start a value of 1. When I'm giving the I value of 1, I need to check where is the reply coming from. Now currently the reply is coming from 192.168.0.1. So let's say I'll write it down. -192.168.0.1. Then I'll increment the value of I to 2. Now this is coming from 219 dot 219.91.185.1. And I'll increment the value to 3, and I'll note down what is the reply coming from. That is 203.187.223.1. Now we need to keep on incrementing the I value until the reply does not come back from the main site IP address. So what I'll do, I'll keep on incrementing a value. I know that, let's say when I'm going to 14, the reply is still not coming back from that website. I'm doing it to 15 right now. When I increment the value to 15, I can see that the reply is coming up from the site that I need over there. And that way we'll be making a table where I'll be having the I values and I'll having the IP address. And if I go from top to bottom, this will be the entire route that my packet is taking to reach this sort of destination IP address. So if I go and compare the previous thing, let's say 192.168.0.1, alright, 219.91.185.1, alright, 203.187.223.1, alright. So if I, let's see, keep it side to side, keep the value of 4. The value of 4 is coming from 121.241.8.6. Similarly, as I keep on incrementing the value, I'll get the entire list of IPs which are responding back from top all the way to the 15th hop, which was at the destination over there. Email footprinting is trying to find out information about the source of an email which is sent to you, or trying to find out information about a particular email address. For this thing, we'll be using a software called as Email Tracker Pro. When I start Email Tracker Pro, it gives me this sort of view over there. Now I can trace my email on the basis of a header, an email header, or I can trace on the basis of address over there. When you open any email, when you get an email, for example over here, if you click on this download arrow, you get an option for the show original. When you get the show original, the top portion, which is over here, which is near before the content type, this is your header. The header gives you all sorts of information like who sent it, what is the message ID, what is the subject and stuff. So for example, if I click on trace headers, and if I paste the email header over here and click on trace, it'll perform a trace over there. For example, I had done a trace on this specific email message over here. So after the trace has been done, it'll show you exactly where the location of this email had come from. Down below, it'll show me the basically route table or the route hop that is taken between my machine and the destination server over there. Right hand side shows me the email summary, where I can see that header the header attributes or the fields in the email have been highlighted. Attributes such as subject, such as location, and all. If I click on network whois will give me information about the network from which this email address came from. This is basically, it is saying that it is doing a network based whois query over there, where I can see that it is having an IP range, what is the host name, what is the uh, location and stuff. If I do a domain whois will show me any sort of domain based information for that specific IP address. If I click on email header will highlight the key attributes in the email and display it to me. Similarly, if I click on trace address and I specify an email address to search over there, and I click on trace, it's not performing a trace on that email address itself. One thing to note is that if you're using a web-based email like Gmail or Yahoo, when you provide that person the email address over here, that person details will not be visible if you have sent any email from that webmail provider. But maybe if the person has been accessing his email using a client like maybe Outlook or Thunderbird, then you may be able to find out information about which IP address it is sent from or which location that email came from. Now I've been accessing this email using my Gmail webmail. So I can see that the destination, that is source email address, is listing as Mountain View, California, USA, which is the Gmail server's location over there. If I look at domain who is information, it is telling me that this is registered to gmail.com. I can see what is it, who is the register that Gmail is registered with, godaddy.com. I can see what is the name server, ns1, ns2, ns3, ns4, google.com. I can see that this was updated on 11 July 2015, and this gmail.com domain thing was created somewhere on 1995. That is, google.com was created on 13 August 1995 over there. If I go on network who is, I can find a network who is based information. I know that this is the net range which Google is using. I know what is the CIDR notation, that is using an IP, that is using a network of 24.125.0.0 having a /16 notation over there. Now when we want to perform DNS footprinting, we perform DNS footprinting using Windows inbuilt ns lookup command over there. So if I type the ns lookup command, it'll show me what is my current server over here. What is my current DNS server over here. Now when I'm working with NS records, I can work with different sort of NS records. I can work with different DNS type of records. I can work with A records, I can work with MX records, I can work with PTR records, I can work with maybe name server records as well, or I can use SOA type of records as well. Now if I type the help command over here, it'll tell me a different command which I can use over here. So I can say, if I just give a name, if I just type some name over here, maybe www.certifiedhacker.com, it will show me information about that. I can also specify different sort of options over here. I can use an option. I need to use the keyword of set. I can say set type. We'll be working with types. If I say set type is equal to something, set type is equal to any A, CNAME, MX, PTR, SOA, I can then perform DNS based footprinting on that for those type of DNS records over there. Let's say for example, if I do it for my own website, I can see what is the non-authoritative answer showing me the address. If I do this for maybe google.com, I can see what is the response over there. I can specify set type is equal to any and maybe type the thing over there. So for example, I do set type is equal to any. I can see that my website is having two type of name servers over there. If I do it for Google, I can see that Google is having 4 name servers, that is NS1 to NS4. If I'm having any issues with querying this, I can specify the DNS server to use. By default, it is using my local DNS server, that is 0.1. I can even specify to use Google's own DNS server, that is 8.8.8 over here. That is Google's public DNS service. Let's say if I type Google again. Now if you see right now, because I've moved I've specified the server as 8.8.8, it is now showing me much more better information over for my queries. So let's say if I do set type is equal to A, set type is equal to A, and I do it certified. If I do it for my own website, I can see what is the non-literal answer. Let's say if I do set type is equal to any, and let's see if it gives me any sort of information. Now I do set type is equal to any. It is showing me what is the MX record. That is the mail exchange record. It is also showing me what is my start of authority also as well. That is MS start of authority. The primary name server is NS21. I can see what is the possible mail address. I can see what is the SOA record details, like as what is the refresh rate, what is the retry value, what is the expire value, what is the default TTL value as well. If I change it to something set type is equal to MX, and let's say if I get my from a website, it will now tell me that for this URL these are the different MX records. For example, my website is having two MX records having different priorities, having a priority value of 10 and having a priority value of 0 over there. Depending upon the priorities, that record will be referenced first, and then the next records will be referenced over there. Let's say if I do set type is equal to SOA, and I give my website again, I can see that this is now just the start of authority record for this URL. Similarly, let's say I'll do a set type is equal to NS. This is the NS record for this particular website. So similarly, you can query the different sort of DNS records by just alternating between the different types. So I can see that there's no CNAME record for my website, but it's just showing me the value for my SOA. If you do like this video, please don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below.